Hey folks, welcome. My name is Emily and this is Gently Chaotic Knits, which is generally a video podcast series where I chat about what I have been making, mostly knitting, sometimes some other crafting like sewing or occasionally crochet or something like that. Oh, and spinning for sure as well. I have lots of things. I have lots of things to share today about a variety of crafts. I honestly don't even know if I should waste any time on an intro because there's so much to talk about because one, I have not recorded in such a long time. I didn't even look at when I last posted a video. I think it's been almost 2 months. It's been at least 6 weeks. So there's a lot to catch up on just because it's been so long. But also I feel like I've been on such a finishing kick recently. I have been having more time to craft and make. I've been feeling a lot of really good energy and especially finishing energy, like really wanting to work through and finish some things. And I have literally 6 finished objects to share with you all today. I cannot believe it. So I have lots of things that are done and I love and I'm excited about that I'm going to tell you about. I also have some new things in progress and some successes and some triumphs and some things that feel really good. So I'm just probably going to jump in. I'm going to do everything in my power. Okay, that's probably not true. I'm gonna do my best to make this video not 3 hours long. And so I may not go into as much detail as I normally would on every single thing that I talk about because I really don't think that I can sit here for 3 hours and go through every single thing super carefully, but I'll try to get to all the important bits of information. And I did not take as thorough of notes this time as I normally do, just because I also could not compel myself to sit down and spend the time it would take to write down notes for everything that I'm gonna talk about, but I think I have everything here. I'm hoping that I'm not gonna miss anything. If I do, definitely feel free to drop me a comment, ask me a question, check the Ravelry page that I will hopefully be linking everything below. And yeah, let's jump into it. So first up, I have what I'm wearing, which is also a finished object. So why don't I take my jacket off and I can show you all. This is my honey tee, which I was working on, I think last time I recorded, but it has been finished for a while now. So this is a pattern by Brianna Mason, and I knit it out of the Spinster's Daughter, which is a collab between Spin Cycle Yarns and Farmer's Daughter. And this is their, what is the name of the base? I think it's just called Spinster's Daughter Sport. And the colorway is Insomnia. I got this at Flock Fiber Festival this year and I love how it turned out. This is size 1 and I definitely have less ease than the pattern suggested. I think my gauge may be a little bit off as well, but I have not measured, so I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely have less ease than the pattern. Ooh, a sneak peek of a sewing project that I will talk about later. But let me hop up here so that you can see the full effect. I don't know if it'll be able to pick up on camera, but I did have a little bit of a dye lot issue. I wish I had paid a bit more attention when I was grabbing the skeins from the table at Flock because I did have one skein that was a little bit of a different color, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's the skein that I used for this upper part. So the upper part of the tee is a little bit more of like a muted color, and then there's a line like right at my bust. And then the rest of it is a little bit more dark and vibrant. And then the sleeves are also kind of that darker color. So you can probably tell a little bit the difference in color, like right at the sleeve pickup line. And then also I did the collar with the darker color too. So you may be able to tell a little bit of a difference there. I am bummed by that. And I was prepared if it bothered me enough to go try to over dye it. I have had success over dyeing projects before and I probably would just try to dye it basically a darker red, like basically the same color that it is and just kind of even it out a little bit. I do think blocking helped a bit with it. Just like kind of soaking in the warm water, I think softened the line a little bit. And when I'm wearing it and like I wore it and I took photos in it, it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. So I think I'm gonna leave it for now and see if it continues to bother me. Yes, I probably should have alternated skeins. I think that probably would have been better, but I just didn't plan to from the beginning because I didn't realize this was gonna be a problem. And by the time that I finished the body, I was basically at the end of, or finished not the body, basically right where I joined at the underarm. I was essentially done with my first skein of yarn, and so I couldn't really alternate from that point to kind of ease in the new color even, because I didn't have enough yarn left of my first skein. Otherwise I probably would have done that, but I just didn't quite have enough yarn. So anyway, that's the only downside for this project. Otherwise I really enjoyed it. I feel like it knit up faster than expected for something with this many cables. The instructions were good. This was my first pattern that I was knitting from Brianna Mason, and I have others of her patterns bookmarked that I would like to make in the future, and I definitely would make a pattern of hers again. Yeah, let me try to think about, sorry, I feel like I'm speed running because I have so much to get through today, but yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how it turned out. Oh, this was my apple picking sweater, or my apple picking outfit for this year. So those of you that have been following me for a while or watching my videos will know that the last several years I have purposefully knit a sweater. Normally this year it was a tee, but some sort of garment with the intent to wear it apple picking. Generally in the past it's been like my first sweater that I will knit after knitting tees and tanks in the summer. So I'll knit like my first sweater of the fall, or like late summer, early fall. I'll knit my first sweater and then I'll wear it apple picking. This year, I was reminded that last year when I went apple picking, it was pretty warm, and I also had just gotten this yarn at Flock in early August, and I was really excited about it, and I thought that the color and the vibe would go really well for apple picking as well. So I decided to do an apple picking tee rather than an apple picking sweater, and I'm very pleased with that. I think it was perfect for the weather on the day that we went apple picking. Honestly, it was quite warm. We went, I mean, it's been a while now. I think it's been pretty much a month since we went, and this was done by then, so this has been done for a while. But yeah, it was pretty warm. I wore this exact outfit, so I had a whole vision for the outfit, not just the tee, but also a skirt, a black and cream gingham skirt that I sewed that I'm gonna talk about in a minute here as well. So I wore the tee and the skirt, and I also wore my denim jacket, and I can put a picture up on the screen of like the full apple picking outfit experience if you want to see that. But it was perfect. It was lovely. It was a great outfit. It was really nice because I don't know if you can tell in the picture. I don't know what picture I'll put up, but it was very bright outside. So it was sunny, and so I was glad I wasn't wearing like a full sweater. I actually took my denim jacket off for a good portion of the time that we were outside. So yeah, it was a really fun time, and I think this was the perfect tee and the perfect outfit. I am excited to get really good wear out of this, especially in this fall period, because I think the color is perfect for fall, but also because I think it's a good kind of like transitional piece that, of course, like I can wear with the denim jacket or layered with other like jackets that I have. And then it's easy to like take on and off if it's one of the like sunnier, warmer days. So yeah, overall, really pleased with it. I think I said I knit size 1. I don't remember what needle size I used, but I think it's in my Ravelry information. So if you have questions about that, check out the Ravelry page. And yeah, I would definitely recommend making this pattern. Spinster's Daughter, Sport, Insomnia. All right, let's keep going on finished objects. I gotta keep going. So I actually have another finished garment, which is wild. I don't know if y'all will even remember that I was working on this because I started this forever ago, and then I kind of was working on it on and off, but mostly off for a while. And then after I finished this tee, I was just like, I'm gonna put all my energy into finishing this. It's kind of also a tee, but this color tip tee that I had on the needles forever ago. I think I originally started this when we were doing a knit along last year, I believe. I don't remember exactly when, but anyway, I finished this, I don't know when, maybe a week or two ago. I'm very pleased with it. So this is the color tip tee, which is actually a pattern by me, but I modified it to be long sleeved instead of short sleeved. So color tip tee, this is the first size. So the pattern recommends about 4 inches of positive ease. And I actually really like that fit and sizing, but I also really like a snugger fit. So I knit this one one size smaller than recommended so that I could get closer to no ease at the bust. So this is a size 1, whereas my normal size would be a size 2. And I knit a short sleeve version, both size 1 and size 2 before, and I like the way that both fit, but for this I wanted to do the snugger fit. So this is, size 1. I used the US size 3 needle for it, and the yarn is Grenouille in the singles linen base. So it's a fingering weight single ply yarn with, I think it's 90% merino and 10% linen. I've used this base also before for a short sleeve color tip tee in a different color, and I really liked the way that it turned out. So this yarn I think I actually got from a friend who had ordered this yarn and wasn't going to use it, and so I said yes, I will take it off your hands. The colorway I believe is Inky Depths, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. The long sleeves turned out great. What I basically did was I knit the sleeve as written, and then instead of course, like ending and switching to ribbing, I just kept going until below the elbow. So I didn't do any decreases until I was past the elbow, and I just kept trying it on until I was like, okay, I could decrease here. And then I just decreased down until I thought it was a good length. So I decreased roughly, I think, every inch from the elbow to the wrist, and then I just put in the ribbing. So that was the only modification. If I remember to, I will write that down in my Ravelry project page. I have not done so yet, but I will try to. Maybe I'll do that before I post this video, just so that y'all can see. If you wanted to make the same modification, it's very easy to do so. The one thing I will say about this is that I think it's a little bit short. The body is a tiny bit short. Part of that's because it's a long sleeve. When I was trying to decide how long to make it, I kept holding it up against my short sleeved color tip tee, which is pretty cropped, and I really like it that way. But for the long sleeve, I wish it was a little bit longer. So I blocked the heck out of it and really stretched it, and it's good, like it's wearable now, but I think I would still prefer if it were a little bit longer. So there's a good chance that I go back at some point and I add length to the body, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that right now, right away. So anyway, I will maybe try to wear this on the podcast next time, so that y'all can see it and see what it looks like in the fit and everything. I can actually just put a picture up of me here wearing it. I don't know how much time I'll have to talk about this at the end, but I just went to what my friends and I call Knit Weekend, which is where our knitting group basically just rents an Airbnb in the area, and we just go and we knit and chat and watch movies and snack all weekend. And we also often try to find Airbnbs in these like beautiful places where we can take photos for each other of our finished knits, and I finished this one in time to take some really fun photos on the beach right by our Airbnb. So I will try to put one of those pictures here so you can see what it looks like on, but then yeah, I'll also try to remember to wear it next episode, unless I have something else that I finished that I want to wear. I can't believe that I am knitting fast enough and like recording infrequently enough that I have multiple garments finished per episode. So I can't wear, I mean, I could like pause and put it on, but I'll just wait and I'll try to wear it next time. I'm trying to think about if there's anything else to say about this one. Of course, I like the pattern because it's mine. It's kind of a go-to for me for like a classic tee. And I'm glad that I was able to modify it to be long sleeve, and I like the way it turned out because I will definitely keep this in my back pocket, and I could see myself making more of the long sleeve version of the color tip tee. So yeah, there it is. Okay, so that is all the garments that I have finished, but I do have another very large project that I finished that I've been sharing about over the last couple of episodes. I've been working on this project, well, you can see it now, but I've been working on this project for forever. Literally, I think a year and a half. I have been working on this, not like full attention the full time, but I've had this on the needles and I've been working on it on and off for such a long time, and I really just did a final push over the last, I mean, honestly, I finished this quite a while ago. So like shortly after I recorded my last episode, I did a really big push over like a week or two, and I finished it only a couple of weeks after I recorded my last episode. And here it is. It is my crosshatch wrap. So it's huge. It's so squishy. I love it so much. I can't believe how much I love it. So here's the information. The original pattern inspiration is the Crosshatch wrap by Jared Flood. However, I did make some pretty heavy modifications. So like the numbers that I used for the cast on is from the pattern, but I modified, I think, both the cast on and the edging, so it's slightly different. I ended up doing a tubular cast on for the edge, just in the gray color, and then I did a 3-stitch I-cord on each edge as well, also in just the gray color. The yarn that I used is, so the gray is Rerum Natura Gilliatt in the colorway Fusain, and the cream is Spinaway Farms Italian Merino Sport that I got at New York Sheep and Wool Festival, I think in 2023, so a few years ago. So it is a worsted weight and a sport weight. I think the original pattern uses 2 different weights of yarn, but it's Brooklyn Tweed yarn. I think it's Shelter and Loft maybe, so like a DK worsted and a fingering weight for the original pattern. So I stuck with the same like 2 different yarn weights for this project, and I could not be happier with how it turned out. I was really in my head about how long to make it. So I think I ended up knitting it roughly 76 inches in length, pre-blocking. And then when I blocked it, I ended up blocking it out to be 8 feet. And I wasn't like stretching it or anything. I basically just like laid it out, and it was 8 of my blocking squares. So I knew that it was 8 feet. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's so squishy, it's so big. So it is, yeah, this is like the width, and then it's like 8 feet long. I was very in my head about the length, and I was nervous that it was gonna be too short and then it was gonna be too long, and I think it turned out perfect. So let me wrap it around myself. So this is one wrap. This is the length, so I've got a good amount of length. There's no world in which I would be wrapping this around multiple times. It's already just a ton of fabric and squish around the neck, so I think just one wrap is great. And then it's also a great size for if I want to wear it this way, like around the shoulders as a wrap. I feel like it's really cute and a great size and length for that, or like wrapped around and give it a little more length on one side and kind of drape it over the shoulder. Yeah, sorry, no, I'm cutting off the top of my head here, but Anyway, I'm really, really pleased. This feels like it was forever in the making. I feel like there were times when I thought I would never, ever finish it, but I made it, and that is in no small part thanks to the support of my friends Ariel and Megan, who jumped on the giant 2-color brioche train with me and helped give me the encouragement and accountability to get it done. And my friend Ariel finished hers, and we got to take a couple pictures together, which I can put one up here as well, of us wearing our giant 2-color brioche wrap things. And I know Megan is gonna finish soon, and then we can all take a picture together. And it sounds like maybe my friend Katie might also want to make one as well. So team giant 2-color brioche wrap. Definitely, while it took forever, I am pro make a giant wrap. So anyway, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. I think I used a US size 6 needle maybe, or 7. But I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's in the Ravelry page for this one too. But yeah, very, very pleased. So that is the last of my massive projects that I have finished. And I'm actually getting a little cold here. I think the heater turned off in my office, so maybe I'll just put my denim jacket back on. Okay, so that's halfway through my finished objects that I have for today. So I've got 3 more. Let's keep going and work our way through them. So I have 2 pairs of socks that I've finished. So let's talk about those. The ones that I think were in progress. Actually, were they in progress last time? Yeah. These ones were in progress last time. So this is finished. I finished these were just vanilla socks. These were my August socks. So reminder that I'm doing a 2025 year of socks where I picked out 12 sock yarns from my stash at the beginning of the year, and I wanted to knit a pair of socks every month through the whole year. And I have made some adjustments. I'm not gonna go through all of the adjustments to my plan because I think I talked about that a decent amount last time. But anyway, I don't think these were originally planned to be my August socks, but they ended up being my August socks. So here they are, August socks. I did not follow a pattern. These are basically just vanilla socks. So I did a tubular cast on at the top, and then I did a 1x1 rib, and then I did a slip stitch heel flap and gusset, and just like a standard toe. So the yarn here is Pasley Knits Sunflower. This is the Salty sock base, which is actually a non-superwash sock yarn. It feels really great. These are super soft and super cozy. You can tell they have both been blocked and also worn quite a bit. So they're already getting kind of like fuzzy, like hand knit socks kind of do. A little, I don't know why it's not really focusing on this, but they're getting a little bit fuzzy and just from normal wear. But yeah, I think they're great. I like the way that the color turned out. And then yeah, I think the biggest thing for this is the Pasley Knit Salty sock base. I really like. I would definitely recommend, and I would get this base to knit socks again. I have used their superwash sock base, and it was fine. Like, I think it was just kind of very standard for a superwash sock, but I really liked this one. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the non-superwash sock from Pasley Knits, the Salty sock, also has nylon in it. So like normally if I was gonna do a non-superwash like fingering weight yarn for socks, I'd be a little wary because no nylon would make me nervous that it wouldn't hold up as much, but non-superwash merino, and it also has nylon in it. So definitely would recommend this as a sock yarn for you if you want to try it out. But yeah, I also just love the color. I think it's super cute, and I don't remember much about knitting these. I finished these quite a while ago. So those are my August socks. And then I have also finished very recently, I finished my September socks. So, and I don't think I ever said what day today is, but today that I'm recording is October 22nd, I believe. So I'm a good chunk into October, and I just finished these like a day or two ago, but I finished my October socks, or September socks, sorry. I finished my September socks, and these are the Season Socks by Summerly Knits. And I knit them out of Grenouille Ghost. So I have had this yarn in stash for quite a long time. I love this colorway, and I wanted to knit it ahead of Halloween because I think it's a perfect, like, kind of fun, subtly spooky color. And has like these fun little teal and orangey bits in them. Here, I think in this sock you can see the color a little bit better on like the foot part. So the stitch pattern, I have a couple thoughts about this one. The stitch pattern is a waffle stitch that you go up a couple of needle sizes for, larger than your normal sock needle, even though it's like standard sock yarn, sock weight, like fingering weight yarn. So the pattern has you start with a smaller needle. So like I think the pattern is probably calls for a US 1, but my standard sock needle is a US size 0. So I started with a US size 0 for the cuff. And then once you start doing the waffle stitch pattern, because it's so dense, you go up. I think the pattern calls to go up to a US 2 needle. I also just knit it on a US 2 needle. I guess I probably could have knit it on a larger needle, but I tried it on and it fit, so it wasn't any problem with that. So anyway, you go up to a US size 2 needle, knit the waffle. I was cruising, everything is good. Knit the heel. The heel is like a little bit big because the heel is not waffle stitch. So like you go to the larger needle size because you're knitting the waffle stitch. But then the parts of the sock that are not knit in waffle stitch, you still also knit on the US size 2 needle, and that resulted in them turning out a little bit baggy and weird. So when I put it on my foot, it's not bad, but if you just look at this, like you can see how much looser it is. So like the foot, the heel and the foot, you can tell there's like way more fabric on the bottom of the foot than there is on the top. It's just a lot tighter on the top because you're knitting the waffle stitch, and then the bottom of the foot is so much more stretchy and relaxed. So, and then I don't think the pattern calls for this, but I also went back down to a US size 0 needle for the toe. So I think if I were to knit this pattern again, which I would because I do really like the way that the waffle stitch pattern looks and feels, and it was enjoyable to knit. But I think what I would probably do is just use 2 separate needles for the foot, like for the heel and foot, and do the US size 2 needle for the top part, like for the waffle stitch part, and then use my standard sock needle, like a US size 0 needle for the bottom part, just so that it is a little bit more, I don't know, it matches a little bit better, and the bottom of the foot is not super loose, if that makes sense. So I'm not like unhappy with how these turned out, and I haven't blocked them yet, so I'm wondering if I block them and get them on a sock blocker, that will help a little bit. It'll kind of even things out a bit. And again, when I put it on my foot, it's not horrible. But I am just like a little bit disappointed with how this turned out, and I would do it differently if I knit this pattern again in the future, which I definitely would. So just something to think about if you're planning to knit this pattern, that you may want to adjust the needle for the bottom part of the foot. And I'm pretty sure that the pattern did not say to do that, but there's a chance that I just like kind of missed it and wasn't reading carefully enough, but I don't remember anything about switching the needle size. So anyway, if I knit it again, I would probably do that. But otherwise, I love this color, and I did finish these in time for Halloween, so I might wear these on Halloween or like around Halloween, and they can be my spooky Halloween socks. And I have this really cute, I think I got this from a yarn shop in Madison, Wisconsin, but it's a very cute candy corn stitch marker, which I think is so cute. Anyway, okay, that's my socks. 5 down, 1 to go. My last finished object is not something I actually even have with me. I finished this. It was a gift for a friend and I have already given it away. So I don't have it physically with me, but I can put a picture up here of it, and that is Forrest the Bison, which is one of the little plushie toys from the Moosh and Friends book by Cynthia Vallet. I'd been working on this and I think I showed y'all last time when it was in progress, but I finished it up. My friend had her baby and I was able to gift little Forrest the Bison to them. And it was very sweet and fun to make this little guy. I did just make, oh my goodness, Norman, you're trying to dig into my pile of knits that is on the ground next to me, so I may have to pull some of that up. I did knit the little pants for the little guy for Forrest, but my friend is going to knit his little sweater, and then he will be fully clothed and good to go. So I have hopefully put a picture up here so that you can see what he looks like. I really am happy with how he turned out, and it's super fun to knit. Honestly, the way that these patterns are written for all the little plushies in this book, so this is my second one that I've knit, and spoiler alert, I have a third one in progress. I love the way that these patterns are written. I think they are really fun that you start at the head, and so you get to do like all the exciting fun part and also like a little bit of the fiddly part first. I will say for Forrest the Bison, the hair was definitely fiddly. You had to do these crochet chains for each lock of his hair, so definitely a labor of love and dedication, but I love how he turned out. And yeah, I definitely would recommend any of Cynthia Vallet's toy like plushie patterns. I think she has some outside of the book as well. Like I think she has a couple of others. If you're not interested in the full book, you could find just like some of her standalone patterns. But if you think you would knit like at least a couple of them, I would definitely recommend the book because it has a ton of really great information at the beginning about like all the techniques that are used in the book, and then each of the patterns refers back to the techniques. So it's just really well done, and I will definitely be making tons of these for like all of the friends' babies in my life because they're so cute and they're also really fun to knit. So anyway, I have another one on the needles, which maybe I should just go ahead and talk about now, but Forrest is done and is no longer with me, but is with his new family and his new little guy now. So anyway, that is my last finished object for today. Cannot believe I finished 6 things since we last spoke, and let's talk about what's on my needles now. So maybe I should just go ahead and talk about my next little friend of Moosh. So I am knitting for another friend who is having a baby soon. I am knitting Horacio the Donkey, and I'm not very far at all, but I just have his little snoot. So let me show you what that looks like. Here he is. I don't know if it'll focus. Yeah, there we go. So here he is. Here's his little snoot. So not a ton of progress here, and I honestly haven't worked on this in a couple of weeks. I cast this on shortly after I finished Forrest, and then I've just been preoccupied with other knits, but I am for this one. Oh, and I didn't say what yarn I used for Forrest, but I used, I don't remember the exact colorway, but the yarn was Knitting for Olive Merino for his body, and then I think it was Cotton Merino, Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino for his pants. I think dark ochre for the color on that one, but I'm not 100% sure. This one is also Knitting for Olive Merino. I actually bought this from La Mercerie recently. I did an order for this project and also for another project that I'll talk about in a second. So this is, I guess, technically an acquisition as well. But I just got the one ball of the Knitting for Olive Merino, and the colorway here is Dusty Moose, which I thought was the perfect donkey color. I just didn't have anything that was quite right in stash, so I ended up grabbing this, and then I think it's perfect. So yeah, I will try to make progress on this as well, but it may be a minute because I've got lots of other knitting goals and pursuits that I am working on. So that is my first work in progress. Let's get into the other stuff. So I do have a couple of garments on the needles. First one is actually another gift. So I am knitting once again. Those of you that have been with me for a while will remember how many of these I've done, but I am knitting once again a dad sweater, which is my pattern, for another family member. This is a new family member of mine. I mean, honestly, not that new. He's been a family member for me for some time, but officially, legally now, my sister got married, and so I am knitting her husband, my brother-in-law, a dad sweater, and here it is. So I am using Rerum Natura Gilliatt in the colorway Aster. So this is also, I guess, kind of an acquisition because I got this yarn from Law Mercery at the same time as I got the yarn for the donkey. I've used this yarn to knit dad sweaters in the past, and I've just adjusted, and basically I knit one size smaller to get the measurements of the size that I want. So I'm doing that again here. I'm knitting the broad shoulder size 1. So this pattern has 2 size ranges and has been graded in both men's and women's sizing charts. So the broad shoulder version uses a standard men's size chart and just has like a little bit of a wider shoulder and also like a longer body, but that doesn't matter. You can knit the body as long as you want. But anyway, I am knitting broad shoulder size 1 for this, and I will be getting roughly the measurements of broad shoulder, kind of between broad shoulder size 2 and 3. I did go up a needle size, I think, from when I have knit with this yarn in the past, just because I think my personal gauge has changed a little bit, but also I wanted to give it a little bit more relax on the fabric. So I am using, I think, a US size 6 needle. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure when I've done this in the past, I've used a US 5. So US 6 needle, so hopefully it's a little bit more relaxed and also gets exactly the sizing that he needs. And I've just started, so I've just started the back panel. I've not done very much at all. There are some short rows at the top that I have completed, and then I'm just working on finishing the back panel. And then I will pick up for the fronts and I'm trying to get it joined in the round so that I just have at least the top piece completed in the next couple of weeks, because I'm actually going to see my family, including my sister and my brother-in-law, in a couple weeks, and I want to get it to a spot where he can try it on so that we can measure from there, like how long to make the sleeves and how long to make the body, and make sure that the shoulders fit the way that he wants, so that I can go back and make any adjustments if I need to. So he chose this color. I love this color, and I think it goes so well with the rest of my families. So we all are doing like a cool color theme, I guess. I don't know if y'all remember all the ones I've knit, but I knit a cool gray one for myself. I knit a like slate kind of bluish gray one for my dad. My mom's is like a light bluish green. My sister's is like a licheny light green, like a sagey lichen green. And my brother's is like a dark tealy, yeah, just like a dark teal. And then my husband's is dark gray. I actually may have it. Yeah, I was actually wearing it earlier today. So all like grays and greens and blues. And so to have the purple edition, I think is the perfect addition to our little cool colored family. Yeah, I'm very excited to be knitting this for him. Those of y'all that have been following me for a while know that when I knit things for my loved ones, I get a little bit sappy. I love to do a little gift knit and thinking about the love that I have for that person, and especially for someone that's like joining our family like this, it feels like a really meaningful and like loving thing to put my time and energy into. So feels really good. I'm hoping to have this done by the end of the year, around like, yeah, like the holidays, so that I can give it to him then. So yeah, that is my first in progress garment. And then I have one other garment in progress that I just cast on this weekend along with my friend Ariel. So I have been seeing this pattern advertised even when it started going to test knitting, and I was like, I really think that I have to make this. I think this is very me. I think that I would wear the heck out of it. So even though it wasn't like really in my immediate plans, I had other stuff that I was like excited about casting on. As soon as the pattern came out, it's just like, I have to do it. I have to do it. So I am knitting the Moonset Polo by Ozetta. And here it is. I don't have this in the best place right now to show you all, but here it is. I don't know, maybe I can turn around and show the back first. So here she is. You can take a look. Here's the yarn. I am using some Aran weight yarn that I got in Ireland. It's Kerry Woolen Mills Aran, or Kerry something like that, Kerry. I'll try to link it. I mean, I think it's linked in the Ravelry page, and I'll link the Ravelry page and like write out what yarn it is in the description and everything. I'm hoping that this yarn will have a redemption moment, because some of y'all may remember earlier this year, I had a plan for this yarn to make the book club cardigan by Sorry Nordland. And it just was too dense and just really did not work out, and was the beginning of a series of misfortunes with that project that ended in me just kind of abandoning it. So as soon as I saw this pattern, I thought, okay, the Moonset Polo, I thought this could be a redemption moment for this yarn. This could be a good fit for this yarn. The pattern does call for a worsted weight yarn, same as the book club cardigan. And this yarn, once again, is not worsted weight. This is Aran weight yarn. But I thought in this style, and I think the gauge for the pattern is like fairly loose, so I thought, yeah, maybe my fabric will be a little bit tighter, like a little more dense, but it would still be okay in this pattern. So I swatched, and it was gonna be a little bit too big, so I went down a needle size and I swatched again, and I liked the fabric, but I thought, oh, it's gonna end up too big, so I went down one more needle size, and I got the right gauge for the pattern. The smallest size of this pattern is 42 inches in circumference, and I have a 32-inch bust roughly. So that would give me 10 inches of positive ease. I think that the pattern calls for 12 inches of positive ease maybe. I really do not want more positive ease than that. So it wasn't, because that's the smallest size, normally what I would do is I would just knit a smaller size, even if my gauge was off, but that wasn't an option. There was not a smaller size available for me to adjust to. So I decided to just go for it, and I cast this on, like I said, with my friend Ariel and at our knit weekend this last weekend, and I am so freaked out and in my head about whether this fabric is too dense, and I don't know how well y'all will be able to see it through the screen. It's not as dense as the book club cardigan was because it's not cables, it's just stockinette, but I mean, you can probably tell, like, this is not a drapey fabric, right? This is pretty dense. But I remember when I knit my book club cardigan swatch originally and I blocked it, it really relaxed and stretched out, or not stretched out, but like softened a lot when blocking. So I'm holding on to that hope that even if it feels a little tight and dense right now, that when I block it, it's gonna feel great. The other thing that I'm holding on to is I still stand by that I think this pattern would be pretty cute, even if it's a little bit more kind of structured. So I'm gonna keep going, but my game plan is to try to join at the underarm. So like I've already done the back, I'm gonna do the left and right front, I'm gonna do the collar as well. And then I'm gonna block it, and I'm gonna try it on after blocking, and I'm gonna see, is it way too rigid? And if it is, then it wasn't meant to be. And I'll rip it out and I will find another yarn to make this project, and I will use this yarn for something else. Maybe for something that's written for Aran weight yarn. That would be wild, huh? But I do really like how it looks, and I'm optimistic that it will turn out okay. So anyway, let me know what you think. I know that y'all can't feel it, so it's probably hard, but if you think it's wild of me to be doing this and that I should just abandon ship now, I mean, you can tell me that, but I probably will keep going at least until I can block it and try it on. But the flecks in this yarn are so perfect. It's a gray base, but it has blue, red, and yellow flecks. And if y'all know me, you know I am a primary color girly through and through. So the color of these flecks is just giving me absolute life. I'm obsessed. Here, let me give you a good look at it. Like, how incredible is that? And also how me. It's so perfect. I love it so much. And so I really want to give this yarn the perfect project, and I want it to turn out great. So I'm hopeful. But anyway, I probably will give this project a lot of energy until I get to the point where I can block it, and then I'm gonna go fully on to my dad sweater for my brother-in-law, and I'm gonna go hard on that until I see him in a couple of weeks, and then we'll kind of go from there. And then maybe I'll have both of them. We'll just be cruising in the body, and I'll have easy, happy knitting for a while. So anyway, those are my garment works in progress. So that is what I've been working on since I finished my last couple of garments. I do have, let's see, I have one more work in progress, and that is just my next pair of socks that I cast on. So these are my October socks that I cast on, actually not yesterday, but the day before. So 2 days ago, and I've already made a good amount of progress. I don't know how I made this much progress this quickly. I really like this pattern. So this is, once again, the Hibernal socks by Summerly Knits. I have knit this pattern before. I'm actually wearing them. I can't get my foot up high enough for you all to see, but I am wearing my Hibernal socks that I knit for myself. But these ones I am knitting for my sister, whose birthday is upcoming. And like I said, I'm gonna see my family in a couple of weeks. So I wanted to knit her a pair of socks for her birthday. And after chatting with her about it, we decided on this yarn for the socks. So this is Coast to Coast Yarn Co. Red Panda, which is a beautiful cream with like red, orangey, purple bits, like speckles in it, which also feels kind of fall, like Halloween-y and pumpkin-y, I guess, with like the purple and orange bits in there. But she also said maybe a like orangey pink heel and toe. So I had this left over. I believe this is the colorway Red from Stress Knits that I knit a mini mock neck tank out of, and I just had some left over. So I thought this would go well, and I think it does. So I have already finished knitting the leg, and I put in the heel last night. So here is the heel. It's just a slip stitch heel flap. And I also have finished the gusset. I just finished the gusset. So now it's time just to work on the foot and finish it. And like I said, I haven't worked on this at all today. So this is just 2 days worth of work. I don't know why I've made so much progress. Actually, I kind of know why. I was stress knitting while watching baseball, and then also during a D&D session. So I had lots of knitting time because of that, which the baseball, we can talk about later if we have time. I'm heartbroken, but I will persevere. Anyway, so that is my last work in progress. I'm knitting, I think, size medium, which I believe is the 64 stitch size for this one, and using a size 0 needle. I'm trying to think about if there's any other information. I didn't write anything else down. I don't know why I'm looking at my notes. I put no information in my notes, so. But yeah, so lots of the things on my needles right now are gifts. I have a little donkey, a pair of socks, and a sweater that are all gifts for other folks. So I'm in a gift knitting season right now, and I'm not mad about it. Okay, that's it for the knitting. I do have a sewing update and a spinning update. So let's do the sewing update first. So I hinted at this earlier, but I have a finished sewing project, and I swear to you, this is the best thing that I've ever sewn. And I know that, well, maybe that's believable for sewing. I know with the knitting and other things that I've made, I tend to exaggerate and say this is the best thing I've ever made right when I finish something, because that's when I'm the most excited and proud of it. And I stand by that, that's fine. But honestly, this is easily the best thing I've ever sewn. I'm so, so proud of it. I spent so much time and attention and care to make this turn out the way that I wanted it to, and I'm really, really proud of that. So let me first show it, and then I'll talk about it a little bit more. I'm not really sure how to show it. I may have to scoot the camera back, and then we'll see if I can step back and you can see it a little bit. I don't know how well. Here, maybe if I point the camera down a bit so you can see. Here's my office chair. So here it is. This is my Saundra skirt, which is a pattern by Sydney Graham. And let me just do a little twirl. And like I said, I can put pictures up of it too, like full-length photos, so that you can see it a little bit better. But let me come back and sit down, and then we'll talk about it a little more. Not sure how well I will do at getting myself back set up the way that I was. Here we go. That's about right, I think. Maybe something like that. All right, we'll go with that. Okay, so like I said, that is the, I think I'm a little closer. There we go. That is the Saundra skirt by Sydney Graham. It is the first Sydney Graham pattern that I have, I almost said knit, that I've sewn, and I highly recommend her patterns. And I have others that I would like to sew, and I definitely will, that I already have the pattern and am planning on making next. The instructions were extremely thorough. I honestly didn't even follow the written instructions that much, because she has a video tutorial that goes through everything that's just up on YouTube. I didn't even have to refer to the written instructions that much, because the video tutorial gave me pretty much everything that I needed. I will say that while the instructions were very clear and simple and easy to follow, this was not like a quick project. So the skirt is constructed of 10 panels that you seam together, and all of the seams are French seams, which I had never done before. And it also has pockets. So it took a lot of time, and I went so slowly because I found that a lot of times with sewing, I just kind of rush through it because I'm ready for it to be done. And then I feel like I make mistakes and I'm not satisfied with the result, and it just makes me unhappy. So I decided that for this project, and also for the skirt that I did before this, I think I talked about this before as well, that I really, with my sewing, wanted to slow way down, go really carefully, and then just it takes as long as it takes. So the way that I decided to do this was basically 1 to 2 hours per day after work, I would spend sewing, and I would just do it for as many days as it took. And it took me about a week. Each day I would do, like the first day I just cut out the paper pattern, and then the next day I cut out the fabric pieces, and then the next day I did just attaching all the panels to each other. And then the next day I did the pockets. And then the next day I did the waistband. And then the next day I did the hem or something like that. I don't know if it was exactly like that, but roughly kind of spacing it out that way. And it did feel like it took a long time because it took me a week to sew this, but it was so, so worth it. And being able to take the time and slow down and put a lot of care and attention into it made such a difference. And I finished in time. I finished it the day before we were going apple picking, and that was my goal, was to finish it so that I could wear it with this top and take it, well, not take it, wear it apple picking, and it turned out so perfect. And I love it so much. And if I haven't already, I'll put a picture here again of the full outfit and so that you can see it fully in probably better setting and light than I just showed here, like weirdly pointing my camera down. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm really proud of it. I should tell you the fabric. The fabric is from Matchy Matchy Sewing Club, and it is, I don't remember the name of it. I think it's like medium check gingham, black and white or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I'll put the information about the fabric below. And I love it. It's the gingham skirt of my dreams. And I'm very pleased, and I want to wear it all the time. And I think it's just perfect. So anyway, that is my Saundra skirt and my sewing success. And I think because I have had a couple of more successes recently with the sewing, I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good energy. However, I knit so little that week because I spent so much of my time and energy sewing that I think I can only do a sewing project like this maybe like once per quarter, like every couple of months, because I felt like I was knitting zero and that did not feel good. So I think I'll probably just like build up the sewing energy over a period of time, get really into it, and dedicate, you know, a week or however long it takes to sew something. And I don't think that all my sewing projects will necessarily take this much time, because this one, like I said, was, I don't want to say it was like super involved, but yeah, 10 panels, all French seams, pockets, like, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of a lot. So maybe it'll take less time if I want to sew something in the future. But yeah, I'm not feeling like I'm going to be sewing things all the time, like every week. Part of that also is because I don't have a permanent setup for my sewing stuff. I just sew at my desk. So each day I would get my sewing machine out and I would sew a couple hours in the evening, and then I would have to move it. And I had like the ironing board out in my room and stuff, and like putting everything away and getting it back out and that kind of stuff over multiple days. And like I left some stuff out, but then it's just kind of cluttering up the room until I'm done and I can put everything away. So since I don't have a permanent setup, I don't think this is something I'm going to be doing all the time, but I do think I could, like every couple of months, I could sew something. And I think if I slow down, I'll have more fun with it and I won't burn out and get frustrated as much as I did before. So anyway, there's my sewing win. And then I do have a brief spinning update as well. So I've been working on this project, I feel like for forever, and I'm still not done, but I'm almost done, and I wanted to show you all my progress and a little bit of an update. So I have been spinning this same merino tweed fiber literally since Tour de Fleece, which was in July, and I'm almost done. I'm literally in the middle of plying it right now. And I'm gonna end up with 3 skeins, but I've finished plying the first 2, and the last one I'm hoping I'll finish today. But here it is, and you can see it. It is not washed yet, and I'm really, really hoping it's gonna plump up and get a little bit fluffier and thicker after it's washed. But I'm still pretty happy with it. I think that it's relatively consistent. I spun a 3-ply. I had a pound of fiber. I split it. I did a small sample, and then I did 5-ounce bobbins for my singles, and then I plied my first 2 bobbins, and I'm about to ply my 3rd one. And yeah, this is a 3-ply The plan with this yarn is my friend Maya and I are planning to do a little bit of a self-drafted cabled vest situation. And I think this yarn will be really, really nice for that. I'm imagining this very like academic kind of cabled vest situation, and I think it will be perfect. So anyway, that's my spinning update. Once I finish that, I know I had talked before about some other spinning plans, and I think I'm gonna have to go straight into this fiber, which is from Yarn Jam. It is, I don't remember if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but this is I think it's called Very Merry is the colorway or something like that. It's one of her holiday colors, and it's on the Shanico silk base. And my friends and I got matching fiber to do a matching handspun sock spin to knit along. We've done this we did this last year as well, and we are planning to do it again this year. So this is the fiber, and I need to spin it next because I don't have confidence in myself to spin something else and then spin this in time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spin this one so I make sure I'm ready to go. Several of my friends actually started their spins of this weekend at Knit Weekend. And so I want to go ahead and get started with mine as well. So I'm planning to do, I think, a 3-ply as well for this. I really like my sock yarns to be 3-ply, my handspun sock yarn. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna divide it, but I'm gonna try to do some sort of fractal, and then I will spin it up. And then I'll be ready. We will cast these on together on Christmas Eve and do like a little video call and cast on our handspun socks together. So this will be on the wheel next. Hopefully in the next couple of days would be great, but we'll see. Okay, that's it for sewing and spinning. And I do have just a couple of acquisitions to share, and then I can do maybe just like a speed run of what's been going on life-wise. And then I actually have another video. Maybe now's a good time to talk about that because I just talked about my spinning. So if you remember my traveler hoodie, which I actually have next to me as well because I need to put it away on my shelf. My traveler hoodie that I knit out of my hand spun, and I shared about, I know, on the podcast a while ago when I finished it. I recorded a deep dive video for this project. So I've only done one of these before, and it was for another spin that I did a while ago. But I thought it would be fun for this project to just kind of follow along from beginning to end and show the entire process. So the prep of the fiber and the spinning of the yarn, and then the like washing and care of the yarn, and then knitting the garment, and then the garment at the end. So I recorded little clips throughout the process of making this sweater. I actually started filming this video over a year ago. It started, I believe it was October 4th of 2024. And I just finished editing the video and exporting it today. It's October 22nd, so it's been over a year in the making, putting this video together. And if I'm being completely honest, this may be the only video that I ever make of this type because it required a lot of work to get it made and ready for you all to see. But I'm hoping to post this. The Traveler deep dive will probably go out before this podcast because I think it's ready to go. I just need to fill out this description and upload it. So that will probably be out by the time that you see this. But if you are interested in learning more about the process that I went through to make my Traveler hoodie, please check out that video. I'll link it maybe in the video here, and I'll of course put it in the description too. Lots of people reached out to me after seeing this hoodie with questions about how I made it, questions about the fiber prep, or questions about the sizing, or any of that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping that most of those questions will be answered in probably like annoying detail in this video. It's pretty long. I mean, honestly, maybe it's not as long as this podcast episode because I feel like I've been talking forever today, but it's a pretty long video. I have clips of me spinning and knitting and then talking about it, and in my bathtub smacking the yarn against the wall, and all parts of the process. So anyway, if you care to take a look at that video, that would mean a lot. I put a lot of care and attention into it, and I'm just really, really proud of this sweater and wanted to share with y'all about it. So anyway, that is another video you can keep an eye out for. It's actually, I think, already up, so take a peek. Okay, otherwise, I do have some acquisitions to share. So not a ton, but I have some fabric. So I got this is the same fabric that I used for my skirt, the gingham from Matchy Matchy Sewing Co. Or is that what it's called? Matchy Matchy Sewing Club, I think. And I also got a couple of other ginghams when I ordered this fabric. So this one I really had a strong vision for, to make the gingham skirt. There was another very strong vision that I had, which was I wanted a yellow gingham dress. This was entirely inspired by my friend Coley, who runs Pasley Knits. She made this incredible tiered, gathered yellow gingham dress, and I've seen her, I think, wearing it maybe multiple times, but definitely I saw her at Flock this year wearing it. And I also want to make a yellow gingham dress with beautiful gingham fabric and tiers. So I got this yellow fabric, and I'm planning to make the Skyline dress by Sid Graham. And this, I think, will probably be a spring project for me so that it's ready to go in the warmer months, because it is like a tank top dress. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. And this fabric has already been washed and is ready to go, and washed and pressed. So it's ready whenever I'm ready, and I have the pattern printed, so I just need to cut it out and get going. So again, probably won't be until the spring, but this is a top contender for my next sewing project. And then I just got 1 yard of this super fun pink and red gingham, and I think I'm gonna make a tank top. I'm thinking about, I don't remember the name. I don't remember the name of the top, but I'll try to link it in the description. But basically, I just want to make like a basic tank top in this. I got just 1 yard, but this color was too cute and I couldn't resist. So I just got a yard of it, and I'll probably make a tank top. Yeah, and this was also from Matchy Matchy Sewing Club. And then I didn't mention, but I do have a good amount of the gingham, the black and cream gingham that I used for my skirt left over. So I'm thinking I might be able to squeeze out a pair of shorts. I thought about also making a tank top with this, and then I could have like a matching set, wear the tank top and the skirt together. But I also feel like this fabric would be so cute as a pair of shorts. So maybe y'all should help me vote. Do I make a tank top so that I have a matching set with my skirt? Or do I try to make a pair of shorts? I don't even know if I have enough fabric for the shorts. I'd have to figure that out. But do I make a pair of shorts? Which I think I'm leaning shorts because I feel like this would be so cute in shorts. But anyway, that is my fabric acquisitions. And then my only other acquisition is this fiber that I got from my friend Ariel, who dyed it. So I think she actually showed this already in her podcast, which, speaking of, I know I've mentioned my friend Ariel several times in this video, but she also has a podcast here on YouTube, which you probably already know about because I have talked about her many times before, but it is called Airy Knits, and you 100% should be watching it. She knits the most incredible and beautiful things, but she also dyes beautiful yarn and fiber, and she dyed this gorgeous braid of fiber, and she brought some of the beautiful things that she dyed, yarn and fiber, to our knit weekend this weekend, and I got to take this one home with me, and I love it, and I think it's so beautiful, and just the depth of the color, and I don't know. I love it a lot. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to make with this or what I'm gonna spin it with or just by itself, or I'm not sure, but it feels very precious to me and very beautiful. So I'm very excited about that. But anyway, that is it for acquisitions. And I think that's it for general kind of body of the episode, like crafty discussion. I know I've been talking for a really long time. I also am now getting the scary battery symbol on my camera, so I'm gonna try to wrap it up here quickly because I'm also, I think, losing light. So everything is telling me, please stop talking now. But just like a quick, what's been going on with us? It's been it was like a very busy end of summer and then start to fall. Like I said, we went apple picking. We've done some other really sweet and fun fall activities, going to the pumpkin patch and the sunflower field. And the biggest thing that we've been doing recently, and honestly the reason that I have not recorded an episode in quite some time, is that the Mariners have been playing playoff baseball. And it has been absolutely dominating my time and attention, if I'm being honest. We put like all the Mariners playoff games in our calendar, and I was like unwilling to schedule things with people during, even if I wasn't going to the game, just during the time that the game was on. Partly also for the benefit of other people, because I am pretty much very difficult to interact with. If the Mariners, especially if the Mariners are losing. I went to a couple of the Mariners playoff games during this run, and there was one where I went to, I don't know how many of you are baseball fans or followed along in this series, but I went to the ALCS Game 4. All right, I was playing with fire at the end with the battery, and I did not win. So anyway, I was at ALCS Game 4 against the Blue Jays, just with my husband, and he, of course, knows me exceptionally well and knew that I would not be doing well after the second inning and the Mariners were losing. But we were like watching, and I basically, the way that my stress and anxiety manifests is that I just basically become unable to speak, and so I'm like just so stressed that it's taking over my body, which, yes, I know that it's just baseball and it's just a sport and it's just a game. I know all those things, and it would be best if I would be able to emotionally separate that a little bit better. But this is how I live my life, is that I give my entire full heart to many things, but definitely to baseball and to the Seattle Mariners. So I was basically not speaking for most of that game, and at one point my husband was like, I don't think you've said anything in an hour. So I haven't been able to do a lot of things because I've been so dedicated to, not even dedicated, I've just been very wrapped up in the Mariners postseason run, which was absolutely a dream, incredible, but has since come to an end. A couple days ago, the Mariners lost in Game 7 of the ALCS and did not quite make it to the World Series, which was heartbreaking, but still, they had an incredible run. I'm very excited about the joy that the Mariners brought us this season. So I am excited already for next year, but I'm definitely still in my mourning period right now. So a huge bummer there, but that is a lot of what has been keeping me busy recently. I'm trying to think about what else. I mean, we've done lots of fun fall cooking and baking. I've been making all kinds of fall recipes. And we went apple picking, so I've been making apple things, apple pie and applesauce, and I made these like apple butter cookies with homemade apple butter, which were super yummy. We've been making like fall shakshuka and fall soups, and I've been making sourdough loaves, and yeah, this is my favorite food season for sure, is all the fall foods. So I've been really, really loving that. we've got more stuff ahead and more fall yummies planned. And then like, yeah, lots of fun activities with friends, and it honestly, weather-wise, has been a great fall. It has not been super rainy or cloudy. It's been crisp and clear, which I think is out of the ordinary for Seattle. So it's been really, really nice. Been able to spend some time outside. And yeah, I'm probably forgetting something. I'm sure I am, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world if I forget something. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really sorry that it's been so long and I let things get backed up this much and that I didn't get a chance to record sooner, but I really appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with me while I went through a big catch-up episode, and we'll see. Maybe I'll try to make it a little bit less time before I next sit down to record and chat with y'all, but we'll see. Otherwise, I hope you do lots of knitting and you can still watch baseball. It is the World Series starting on Friday, so I'll at least be watching that somewhat. Dodgers versus Blue Jays, bleh. But will still be fun. It is also nearly the All Sport Equinox, which is, I think it's October 27th. And it is the day in which baseball, football, hockey, and basketball are all played on the same day. So that's fun if you're into that. But anyway, I hope you do lots of knitting and other crafting. I hope you watch lots of baseball and other sports. And I hope you have a great week slash several weeks slash month slash 2 months, however long it is until I talk to you again. I will see you later. Bye.